Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and not wait till it's Monday on the Tuesday show with Ted and CJ. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and not wait till it's Monday on the Tuesday show with Ted and CJ. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and not wait till it's Monday on the Tuesday show with Ted and CJ. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and not wait till it's Monday on the Tuesday show with Ted and CJ.
It worked. It worked.
Out there.
Yes, it worked. I just looked up because what I didn't do was a sound check before we started. But yeah, I can see it's working. So we're good.
Testing. Get in the chat and let us know if you can hear us, if you can see us, and also a brief explanation of why you would bother to do either of those things. Talking of not bothering to do those things, actually, that's not fair. I was going to be really unfair on us now and say that we've not bothered to be here for the last couple of weeks.
Well, we haven't.
But that's not true. We have very, very busy and important lives, and that's why not.
There you go. Well, I couldn't be bothered, and then you had real life stuff going on, and now we're back. So yeah. Stop giving a shit. Okay.
Excellent. Also, ahead of the show, just some apologies for. It might sound like I've been eating a handful of gravel. Perhaps I'm coming down with something, or coming up with something, or something along those lines. But there we go.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
How are you?
Talk.
Apart from the voice sounding like a little horse.
Yeah.
That's not the phrase, is it?
Hey.
Hey now.
Oh dear. No, I'm okay, thanks. Full bill of health.
Anyone would have thought you had a cold.
Yeah, maybe. So that's my April so far. How about yours?
It's been April.
It's been April. We started a new financial year. We've had actually we're a long way into April now, and we've had St. George's Day.
Wait, we have?
Yeah. That was a couple of days ago, wasn't it?
Okay.
23rd of April.
Okay, for some reason I thought it was in June.
Yeah.
But then again, we don't celebrate it in the UK, really, and it's not a public holiday, so why would I ever know when St. George's Day is or care?
That's true. Yeah, people don't bother. People used to, I think, and then, and then they thought, well, this is dragging on a bit.
Hey.
And now it's less so.
Yeah, my nan used to send me St. George's Day cards.
Oh yeah.
And again, I mean, even from that much younger age, I just used to think, what a waste of paper and postage. But it is though. Yeah. Happy St. George's Day. Why? Why is it a happy St. George's Day? Why is it St. George's Day? Why does he get a day and not me?
Well, you do. You get a birthday, don't you?
Who gives a shit about that? I don't care.
Yeah, but you get a birthday, and what have you done? Fuck all.
Is it
right?
Novel.
St. George went and fought a dragon. Have you fought a dragon? No, you haven't. So I mean, get a sense of perspective on this one.
Unless we're talking about my ex. You know.
No. Okay, I'll take all of that back. St. CJ. St. CJ.
Obviously, I mean no disrespect to my ex. It was the joke was there, and I had to use it.
Yeah. And then she went.
Yeah. Wow. So, yeah, no, I knew St. George. I was talking to the other half about St. George's Day the other day. It's like, so we don't get St. George's Day as a public holiday, and I can't remember if any of the other UK nations get their patron saint day as a public holiday. I've got a feeling St. Patrick's Day is.
Ooh.
But I might be wrong. You know,
that's not. That's not a UK thing. I don't think the Irish would like to hear you say that.
All right. Sorry. Fuck me. What the fuck do I know? I'm English, all right? I don't care.
Well, that's an interesting thing, though. I think a lot of people, or far fewer people, actually identify as being English, and they think of
British,
themselves
yeah.
as being British. And
I am British.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I think we're all British, and I think certainly when it comes to being British, I mean, I'm certainly more than that. I mean, I would think of other people as being British. I mean, there's part of me that thinks that people in in Australia, there's kind of a British kind of. It's just a bit of an extension of it. You know what I mean? Obviously, technically not, but yeah. But whereas English is something different, and in of itself, actually, dare I say, an ethnicity. So yeah, I think people have forgotten that. I think we all talk about English and certainly being British as as more of a concept. Like, oh yeah, being British is like it's all about a set of values. Well, actually, it can be about an ethnicity, and where somebody's come from and where their ancestors are from. And I think a lot of people have forgotten that. But anyway, that's that's my thoughts on that. But anyway, happy St. George's Day from the other day.
Happy St. George's Day to you too.
Have a dead dragon.
Yeah. I just found an article on the Express while you were talking there, because I am genuinely interested, because I can never remember. I'm sure there's at least one of them in the UK which is a public holiday for that country.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to find it, but the first thing I found was Express readers demand St. George's Day be a bank holiday. Like we've got enough bank holidays in the first 6 months of the year. Yeah, there are so many. I mean, there are five bank holidays in the first half of the year. Hang on. New Year's Day, Easter, Good Friday, Easter Monday, May Day, Spring Bank Holiday. Okay, 5, yeah. Yeah, I did say 5. Yeah, there's 5 in the first 6 months of the year, and then we get nothing until the end of August, and then we get nothing until Christmas. Yeah. Yeah, and it's like
the reality of that, though, is it only really ever affects sort of schools and civil servants, because people do all sorts of weird and wonderful gig work, shift work. Nobody's quite sticking to the whole we work every day apart from the weekends, and everybody goes to church on a Sunday, and then we have a 2 weeks holiday where we go off to Bognor Regis.
Regis.
It's not like that anymore. People are doing all sorts of weird and wonderful different things.
That's true, yeah. That's true.
But yeah, why not? I mean, why not have it as public? Give it a bit of give it a bit more importance.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to find it. How many UK patron saint days are public holidays? Oh, none of them. Okay, none of them.
Okay, fair enough. Well, all right. Well, it's a level playing field then.
Yeah, so on a level playing field with the Scottish, the Welsh, and the Northern Irish. So.
Yeah. I mean, technically, when it comes to St. Patrick's Day, probably the day to have off would be the day after. Because what we do know about the Irish is they do like a drink.
Yep. Scottish do as well.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Scottish. So the Scottish like a drink even more than the Irish, so much so that they get an extra day off after the turn of the new year.
Oh.
So they get the 1st and the 2nd of January off.
Oh yeah, they're all very hogmanay, aren't they?
Yeah, well, it's because they're all a bit pissed out of their faces.
Yeah, a little bit.
But then they also get a bank holiday in early August, but they don't get the one late August. And I think there's another one they drop as well, obviously because of the 2nd of January. I can't remember which one it is. It all gets really confusing when you work for a company that spreads all over the UK and all over the world, and you suddenly discover there are some weird and wonderful bank holidays in Asia, or public holidays in Asia. Like, I think literally there is one called Rise of the Dragon Day or something crazy like that. Or what was the one we had the other day? The other day, I saw it in my calendar and went, "What's that?" And I asked somebody in Asia the question. They're like, "Oh yeah, it's a bank holiday. It's like called like cold heat or first day of cold or something, and it's a public holiday. You're like, all right, okay.
They could at this stage they could be just making them up. I mean,
feel like it, yeah.
Then again, we could do that to the rest of the world, couldn't we? We would say, well, we got National English Umbrella Day. That's on the 16th of August. Yeah, we could have whatever we want.
I feel like Umbrella Day would be more like end of October, when you really start to need an umbrella.
Yeah.
It's a public holiday while everyone goes out shopping for an umbrella. Come buy the latest style of umbrella from TJ and Ted.
Yeah.
Available now in the merch store that doesn't exist.
Yeah, roast beef day.
Roast beef day, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, the thing is, if we had anybody actually watching this in the first place, then it might be worthwhile having a merch store. But it'd be quite fun thinking of things to put in there. Yeah, CJ and Ted umbrella.
So just find just do some like random store items, just because, you know, just like you can buy a single pencil, you know, with the Tuesday show written on it.
Yeah,
because why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing else stationery related. Just a pencil.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. We could do books as well. We could do a handbook on how to make a podcast and other such gems. You know, CJ and Ted's favorite dad jokes. Yeah, the possibilities are endless.
I mean, I feel like that is something we should probably work on in our spare time.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, actually.
Yeah. Just call it Tuesday Show Dad Jokes.
Yeah.
Or dad jokes from the Tuesday show. And we can go back through our archive and find our favourite dad jokes and just put them in the book.
Yeah.
They are literally from the show.
Yeah.
They'll all be recycled from other people, but whatever.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Does anyone own IP on dad jokes? I don't think so.
I don't know.
I'm not an IP law expert, but...
No.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think a lot of jokes are sort of. Well, I mean, it's quite easy to think of dad jokes anyway because of this shit.
Yeah.
You have to. I'm always making up complete and utter rubbish. And I just sort of get in my head, and I'm just like, oh, and then I go a bit quiet just because I'm, sitting there workshopping something in my head. And then sometimes I just stay quiet because I'm like, no, that was shit. I'm not even going to say that.
I do that all the time, especially at work. I'll be in the middle of a meeting and people will be talking. I'll be kind of drifting off. My head's gone somewhere else. And then somebody will ask me a question. I'll be like, what? What was that? I'll always hold my hands up and be honest, be like, I lost interest. I wasn't paying attention. Sorry, I was thinking of, jelly beans wearing trousers. Yeah. Or something crazy like that.
Yeah, no, I'm exactly the same. And it's like, if you want to say something to me, particularly in a meeting, well, I've already switched off. Unless it's a one-to-one. A one-to-one I can cope with, usually. But if there's any more than two people, then, I'm going to drift off. So if you need anything from me, say my name before the thing. If you start saying all the things and then say, okay, are you good with that, Ted? I'm like, oh, it's when I hear the name, I'm like, right, yeah. Just for clarity, could you say all of that again?
Yep.
Like I'm a 5-year-old.
That's it. Literally, you just going, explain it to me like I'm 5. That's the thing, isn't it? Where people actually post that online. Explain it like I'm 5.
Yeah.
Or something like ELI 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that on I was watching a YouTube video the other day, and I saw somebody had written that, and then it appeared again in a comment further down. I'm like, what's ELI 5? And I had to Google it. Yeah, explain it like I'm 5.
Explain that like I'm a sun reader.
Yeah. Don't get me started on the sun.
Go.
Oh, okay, we'll get started on the sun.
Okay, let's go there.
The Sun, notoriously shit newspaper here in the UK, has started charging you to read their articles online. Literally, it's like
paywall. Okay.
Yeah, they've stuck a paywall on it, and I'm like, dudes, it's the Sun. Who's paying for this? It's literally. I just Google something random, like one of the first links will come up that's not sponsored would be the Sun for something, I'll be like, okay, that header looks interesting, and the content that I can see sort of gets into where I'm trying to go. So I'll click on it, and then it's like, oh, pay and continue reading. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. Oh no, it's ads. Sorry, no, it's ads because I have ad blockers on because ads just piss me off. And it's like, oh, allow ads and cookies or reject and pay, and I'm like, neither of those options, thank you. Yeah, I hate them. I hate paywalls in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to do one. Anyway, so yeah, sorry. I went off on a tangent on the Sun.
Anyway, why would you even pay for that? I mean, they don't even have page 3 anymore.
No? What's the point?
Yeah, exactly. I tell you what, I was... Why was I explaining page 3? I was explaining page 3 to somebody.
Wasn't your son, was it?
No, I don't think it was. Or was it? I can't remember. I can't remember who it was. But yeah, it's just such a bizarre thing to explain to somebody who's never seen it, never heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as a concept. I think it's just so far removed from. It's like, oh, I remember the days when you used to, go to work and you sit in the office and have a fag at your desk,
light up a cigarette. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Thank you for clarifying that. Otherwise, the American viewers might be thinking, what?
I haven't
to do what?
It's so rare I use that word to describe cigarettes these days. I don't know why. I think generally it's just fallen out of fashion.
Yeah.
People will say things like, I'm going for a smoke, or, as I did many times, was I'm going for fresh air. Not fresh air. Or I'm going for a cigarette. I haven't, called them anything else for a long time. Like I say, it slips out occasionally.
Well, that's what she said. But the thing is, it does seem really bizarre because you even using phrases like fresh air, you wouldn't have used that because you weren't going for fresh air because you sat at your desk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
so you were sat at your desk, turning around to have a look and see what day of the month it was on a calendar with some tits on it.
Yep.
And generally being so politically incorrect, it just baffles. It's just baffling now, just looking back on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think by the time I started work, I think the smoking ban, like the indoor smoking ban, had just... Oh, no, it didn't. No, it had not. But there were strict rules on it that you had to have a designated smoking area if you were going to smoke indoors.
Yeah.
So I remember my first job in a supermarket still had a smoking room, and it was disgusting. It was so bad. Like, I used to go in there to smoke, and the walls were a very dark yellow. The area around the extractor fan on the ceiling was a dark brown. It was gross, and you'd come out and like I'd go outside or I'd get home and take my uniform off and I'd be like, oh my god, that stinks. And I'm handling fresh food. Ew, gross. This is disgusting. Why would anyone ever put up with that? Well, they did. That's just the way it was. And then the full smoking ban kicked in as I left there, actually, and then I went off to work somewhere else. I don't remember where. And yeah, the whole smoking ban was a full-fledged thing then. So yeah, instead of sparking up a fag at your desk, you'd nip out for a fag. That's what you do back in here in the UK. But I just don't think people tend to say that anymore.
No,
they go for a smoke.
And it's hard to know what was worse. I mean, the thing is, it kind of you jump from one problem to another. Because I remember, people used to smoke in the office, and that's not ideal, is it? Of course it isn't.
No.
And then we'll have a smoking room, so we'll get one of the smallest rooms that you can possibly get a few chairs in. And we'll stuff all of our, and bear in mind, a lot of people used to smoke. Let's get our entire workforce in the smallest possible room.
Yep.
With inadequate ventilation and make sure that they have serious lung damage by the end of the day.
Yep.
And then the next stage was, what we'll do is we'll present our company in such a way that the first thing you see is a whole bunch of smokers out in the front.
Yep.
Just sort of token away desperately.
Yeah, under the bike shelter. Yeah, under the bike.
Yeah,
shed.
with a big cloud of smoke in front of the building. That'll be great. And just have cigarette ends everywhere.
Yeah. See, that's the worst bit. It's I think at least when you could smoke indoors, there were ashtrays all over the tables. Like I said, I remember going into the smoking room at the supermarket, and yes, there was a lot of people in there. It was very smoky, and definitely not good for you. But at least there was an ashtray on every table. So you could just put your cigarette out and then leave. Now, and I think most people try to use the receptacle to stub your cigarette out on and put it in a bin. But in a lot of cases, no one's bothering to empty that, so it just ends up overflowing. And then they end up all over the floor. Or people just don't bother and they just throw it on the floor anyway. Or the other one would be people wouldn't put it out properly, put it into the thing, and it would all catch on fire. Saw that so many times, and it stinks as well because of the plastic from the filters. It used to stink. I hated it.
Tell you what was weird. I was watching the other day. I was watching Top Gun.
Yeah.
And so the opening scenes, you've got the guy. The guy says, "You'll be flying rubber dog shit."
Oh yeah, the big fucking cigar going.
Yeah, he's got a cigar going.
Yeah.
Right? He's in the radar room. He's got a cigar on the go. He's in his office. He's got a cigar on the go, like constantly. And I'm just like, that's actually. It feels a bit weird now looking at that. And he wasn't the only one.
Nope.
There were plenty of people smoking cigarettes, like in the meetings and stuff. Like, because they were all sat there at the beginning. Before the like the boss turns up and he, how he walks in into the kind of auditorium and then turns around and goes,
"Gentlemen,
you are the best of the best, and we're going to make you better," or something like that. And then some of them, people smoking. Just think, crikey.
Yeah, you could do that back then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, God forbid you smoke in a briefing room now.
Yeah. But people would go bloody nuts, wouldn't they? And you think that's the weird thing. It's like the reaction would be so different. Like there was something you occasionally see a video of something, and there was a video of somebody who was I think they might have actually been vaping on a plane. And it's like, whoa, this is a massive big thing. It's like people used to smoke on a plane.
They did.
People used to smoke on the bus, on the train, and all sorts of different things.
I used to smoke on the bus when you weren't allowed to smoke on the bus. Yeah. I was one of the bad boys. We'd all go upstairs into the back of the bus and we'd open all the windows as we went down the aisle. And we'd all just sit there and spark up while we were on our ride home or ride into town.
Well, I remember smoking at one point was banned on the bottom deck of the bus, so you had to go up to the top deck.
Yep.
It was. The idea of that now is just crazy. It's bizarre, really, how things are so different. I've forgotten how we got onto that. It was something about the sun. That was it. Yeah, page 3. Yeah.
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 I mean, I completely forgot about page 3 in the sun. Again, it was like you say, what a bizarre concept. I mean, it's like you say, try explaining that to a Gen Alpha or a Zoomer concept of page 3, and they just look at you like you're mental.
Yeah.
What a bizarre concept.
But you know what? You might say, oh, yeah, old days, weren't very politically correct and blah, blah, blah. But the reality is, I mean, that was nothing. If you think about it, that's nothing to what people have instant access to on a handheld device very, very easily. So it's not like, we've moved into a new age. I tell you what, we've moved into the age of people like Lily Phillips. Have you heard of this woman?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Who's that?
So this is the influencer, unfortunately. So the unfortunate bit is that she might influence people. Who actually, for the sake of not giving any bloody publicity to us, I'm not even going to find a link or anything. But basically, this is the one that's this woman that has she did a challenge to sleep with 100 guys. Yeah, for basically for online clout and all this sort of business. And yeah, so she's kind of doing the rounds, and I think she had an interview with something, I don't know, something vaguely should be sensible, Newsnight or something. But yeah, this has been doing the rounds. I've forgotten Lily. I'm sure she's got some sort of other name online or something. But this all stems from the whole OnlyFans thing, the whole OnlyFans culture, and sort of drawing particularly younger women into doing these crazy challenges and things, which are, apart from the fact that they're bloody dangerous.
Lily Phillips, did you say?
Yeah, that's right.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Lily and Daisy Phillips, 23rd of July 2001. Is an English pornographic actress. Born in Derbyshire.
Yeah.
Dropped out of uni to work in the sex industry. Her aesthetic is that of the girl next door. In late 2024, she uploaded to OnlyFans a group activity in which there were 101 men. Oh my God. I mean, I'm all for, you do you, be you. You do you, but if you want 101 men to do you as well, then that's fine, I guess. Yeah, I don't even understand why that.
To say that, and feel like, I mean, it's all very well having a principle saying, "Oh yeah, you do you," but then you think to yourself, "Fucking don't do it though." There's that point where, oh yeah, well, you've got consenting adults; they can do whatever they want. But actually, yeah, let's have some judgment. Let's say, yeah, you can do what you want, but don't. That's fucking grim. Don't do that. Don't do that. And also, why? I mean, A, who would want to be involved in that? And B, apart from the fact that being the 101st,
probably be like throwing a hot dog down a tunnel, right?
Yeah. Be like a bloody water slide.
So gross.
Nobody wants to be, but then think about the hundreds before that.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely. I don't know. I mean, it's basically being ruined, and not in a good way. It's awful, and it's awful for the men involved. Like, what would possess you to do that?
Yeah.
How low are your standards? And it's interesting, actually, because when you see where she's done like publicity and stuff and social media and things about it, like about half of the men that she gets in for these events, they're wearing a mask or something. So they're keeping their identity secret. Why?
Well.
Oh yeah. It's that. What's that thing? Shame.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And maybe she should have a bit.
Well, I was gonna say that, and those guys are gonna, may have even more shame. I'm just looking at an article here. Lily Phillips makes shocking HIV admission. Known for sleeping with 101 men in a day, 23-year-old OnlyFans adult film star Lily Phillips has shocked the internet by making a concerning admission about HIV. Now, and don't tell me it's behind a paywall. Yep, there it is.
I would assume for the purposes of making sure that we're all above board on YouTube, I'm going to make the assumption that's a clickbait article, and that any kind of there was nothing explicitly said saying that she has anything.
Yeah, known for sleeping with the 100, blah, blah, blah. Never before seen footage of the Derbyshire mistress actress released by YouTuber Josh Peters in a new documentary Follows Lily in the weeks leading up to her extreme challenge and on the day itself. In it, Josh and Lily are sat in a bar and he asks her if she let guys into her mouth, and she said yes. But despite being a sex worker, Lily admits she isn't completely clued up about the transmission. Okay, it's not saying she's got it, it's saying she has no fucking idea about it. Right, yeah. Okay, yeah, thank you. You were right. Clickbait bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fuck you, internet.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can say fuck you, internet, I'm sure you can use the word cum. Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, that is what's walking around. Presumably with something drawing down the legs, but yeah. How do we get onto that?
You mentioned her name.
Page 3.
Yeah, page 3.
So anybody that would be pearl clutching about page 3 and how terribly sexist it was, and how inappropriate. I hate that word. It was. It would be. It's nothing whatsoever compared to modernity.
Right, wait a minute.
Or the hell that we live in.
You don't like the word inappropriate?
It's a bit overused, isn't it? But yes, I mean,
it's inappropriately used.
Do you know what? It's never used where it should be.
Never used appropriately.
Sleeping with 101 sleeping. I mean,
right.
Having sex with 101 men for financial gain on the internet. That's inappropriate. Don't do it. Have shame. Don't do it. You can call me what you like.
Rude.
You can call me rude, sexist. You can call me what's the other thing? Not being sex positive. Any of those things. Yeah, fine.
Yeah, I said prude with a P.
Oh, prude. Right.
Yeah, so the pop filter probably took out the P.
Right.
Yeah, you've been a prude.
Yeah,
no, again, I'm
certainly not a prude, but that is just.
Again, do what you like, do what makes you happy. I just don't need to read about it, and that's probably why I never heard of her until you said that. I'm not interested. This is why I don't watch the news or read the papers, because I'm not interested in that trash. I really don't care.
Yeah,
so someone wants to go and have sex with 101 men. Okay, great. Off you go then. Bye. Enjoy yourself.
So anyway, that's that's her. So so you don't keep abreast of the news, giggly. So I suppose there's a benefit is you don't know how shit everything is.
But but believe me, I realise that the world is trash, and I just want to get off this planet. Yeah.
Well, maybe at some point we might have the next flood. That'd be that's what we need. So
I think so. Yeah.
Look out! If there's a guy in your neighbourhood building a very, very, very big boat, then grab a Bible and get over there.
Wouldn't that be a great practical joke? Just start building a massive boat, like in your backyard.
Yeah, yeah. I thought you meant it would be a good practical joke of God to.
I mean, that would be a good practical joke too, but. That'd be great. Yeah. Just start building a boat. Or when your neighbours ask, just be like, I'm just building a boat. Why? Yeah. I just got this feeling that I should build a big boat.
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
Yeah, it came to me in a dream.
Yeah. That would make a good YouTube video as well. Just the process of building a big boat in your backyard.
Yeah.
The thing is, you can't do anything with it unless you've got like open access to, the public highway or whatever, but the public road. Even a private road.
Surely a river would be better.
A river would be better, but
although having said that, it doesn't really matter because if there's going to be a flood, this is something you can do inland.
That's why it would be better to do it if you're inland. With lots of I've got an enclosed garden. I can't get to the back of I can't leave the property through the garden. So it would be quite amusing to do that. Just build a boat and watch it. Just look at people's reactions. Watch all the drones start flying overhead and people trying to video me building a boat. I'll grow my beard out and everything. Yeah, start collecting animals. Yep. Every time I see a cat walk past, be like that. Try and tempt it into the boat.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so the world is terrible. So have we got anything a little bit light-hearted, just to cheer us up, perhaps?
Oh, I don't know if is anyone light-hearted. I'll tell you what. Actually, no. I found this thing on Reddit, and I think it will be good. A good like talking point. And this comes from. I say comes from. It's obviously a thing on Reddit. I've seen like other YouTubers do this kind of thing where they go to like the Ask Brits subreddit, and they'll ask a question, and British people will just provide the answers. It came up on my feed, so I'm like, oh, I'll click on that. I think that'll be quite amusing. So here we go. Let's have a look at this. So this is what's a totally legal thing in the UK that you still feel weird or guilty doing? Now, I guess this is just generally addressing anybody who comes to the UK that's not British, and or even people in the UK that still, Anyway, yeah. So, I'll be honest, I haven't read this yet. So we're all learning together, folks.
I was all ears then, and then yeah.
What's a totally legal thing in the UK that you still feel weird or guilty doing? So what's your technically fine but still feels illegal thing in the UK? So the first comment on the list is turning the ceiling light on in the car whilst driving. Now, I thought that was illegal, right. Unless in the back. In the back is fine, but in the front I thought was illegal. It's a distraction for the driver.
Yeah, but I think that's just I think that just stems from parents saying, "Don't put the light on. Don't put the light on."
Yeah, maybe.
On those long journeys, and it's night time, and you want to see what you're doing.
Yeah, you want to read a book. Your passenger wants to read a book. They need the map light.
But that's a lost thing anyway nowadays, because they've all got tablets or phones or something. But yeah, back in the day, if you wanted to play even like a Game Boy, that you needed a light source onto it to actually see what you're doing.
Oh, the genius invention for the Game Boy was the little clip over light that would light up the screen, but without having to like illuminate the entire car. That was a genius invention. Driving with bare feet. I just did an 8 miles cross country and had to pull over and Google the legality of driving barefoot because I just kept feeling increasingly guilty. Again, I thought that was no. I think it's just stupid to drive barefoot.
It's not advisable, but I've done it. But then going from one beach to the next or something.
I feel like driving barefoot.
Chicken tonight.
I feel like chicken tonight. I feel like chicken. I do feel like driving barefoot is safer than driving in flip flops. Because I've seen so many people.
Nothing is safe in flip flops.
No, nothing
right.
is safe.
Don't drive in flip flops. Don't run in flip flops. Don't juggle fire in flip flops.
Don't walk in flip flops.
Don't walk in flip flops. Yeah.
Yeah, just don't walk in flip flops.
Yeah. And weirdly, if you're Australian, we're talking about thongs. And weirdly, if you're not Australian, we're still talking about flip flops.
Do they call them flip flops in America? American viewers, do you call them flip flops? Or I know. So sliders became a thing.
Yeah.
Which when someone said they were wearing sliders, I'm like,
what? Tiny little burgers.
Was it a tiny little ham cheeseburger, or the guy from Top Gun? You're wearing him.
Yeah. Do.
Yep. But yeah. So I was like, what the hell? A slider? And somebody showed me, and I was like. And I kind of looked at it and I was like, I've seen these things before. I never knew they were called sliders.
Yeah.
But I also didn't know what I called them. I guess they were like, I'd call them like shower slippers. Because they're the kind of thing I'd walk into the shower wearing.
Do you know what I call them? I call them red flags. These are things that are generally worn with... totally unironically with white socks.
Yeah.
and bizarrely, even though you don't need much on your feet, for some reason you need to have your hood up. Probably, I imagine a lot of them are stolen, and it's mostly people who use the word fam a lot.
Like the Knights of the Round Table.
Yeah. No, let's not go there. It's a silly place.
Yeah.
No, let's not go to Sports Direct. It's a silly place where people buy sliders.
Yeah, it is a silly place, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, sliders banned.
Yeah. And like, I just found out, I was like, but I never knew like I say, they were the kind of thing that, like, when we were in the organisation and we go away and you had, communal showers, because you never know what's on the freaking floor, you'd have a pair of these things to go to the shower. So I always called them shower slippers. Because when you're in the shower, you can still wear them, and then you just kind of slide your foot out. I guess that's the name slider, because you just slide your foot out, wash your foot, put it back in the slide. Piece of cake. I never knew they were called sliders. So Anyway, let us continue. Driving with a police car behind you. I don't feel guilty about that. I feel guilty in myself that there's a police car behind me, and I'm like, have I done something wrong? Why are they following me? And then and then I suddenly find myself really self-conscious, and I'm like, right, 2 hands on the wheel, just in case, for whatever reason, from all the way back there, they can see the position my hands are in. I must put both of them on the steering wheel. I get not paranoid. Maybe I do get paranoid. But I'm very then conscious that if I, even like tap the brakes a bit too hard, they're going to have me for something. It's a very weird sensation.
It can be, yeah. I mean, it certainly, you end up putting your drink and your food down and switching the TV off and stuff.
You put the newspaper down.
Yeah.
Oh, newspaper.
Get dressed, Get rid of the flip flops. I can see that's one.
Yeah.
I don't think that's particularly UK specific though.
I don't think so. No.
No. What else have we got there?
So lots more about overtaking a police car. People feel guilty about. So because that's a weird one. You'll be like going down the motorway, and boy, could I get started on motorways. But you'll be going down the motorway, and you'll see the police car in the distance, and everyone's slowing down to slower than 70 miles an hour.
Fools.
And you're like, if there's ever a way to show the police that you're guilty, it's to cruise past them at 68 miles an hour, and then take off again, because that's what they do. They kind of go 70, 77, or 60. Okay, they're gone, go, and they're gone. And you're like, hell.
In fairness, I mean, if I'm on cruise control, generally speaking, on the motorway or dual carriageway, and it's clear, cruise control, I'll put it on 69. Because it amuses me.
Me too. I'm so glad it's not just me. I'm so glad that's not just me. The number of times, because the other thing is, when you put it on 70, you suddenly find yourself creeping up on people. But then to overtake them is such a slow process that I then do feel guilty about the people behind me who are waiting for me to overtake. Yeah. So a lot of the time I will sit at 69 and just let people go past me. And again, it's a slow overtake, but I'm like, I'm happy here.
Yeah. But the thing is, the police will purposely drive at around 65 to allow people to go past.
Yeah, and it's more fuel efficient that way as well.
Well, it is more fuel efficient, but it also allows the traffic to keep moving rather than if they went 70, that's it. There's nothing. There's not going to be anything in front of them and everything behind them.
Yep.
That will really screw everything up. So they know that. And they also know that, in the natural course of things, most people are going around about a minimum 70.
Yeah.
Right? They're not going to be dickish about it if you go past them at 73. Probably.
No, but there's also
they won't even pick it up. Won't even. There won't even be a little ding.
They've got the calibrated cameras on board.
Yeah.
And it probably would ping on their little computer if somebody went by over 70 miles an hour. But, there is that whole, urban legend, the old 10% plus 2 or 10% plus 1 or whatever it was. And
3, I think it was. That's what I always heard. I think the basis of that was people thought 18 or 70 was fine. So therefore...
10% plus 3. But that was it, because I remember the first time I ever drove to Scotland, I went up to Fife, north of Edinburgh, and I was going up the M6, somewhere near Lancaster, and I was coming down the hill, and it curved around to the left and underneath a bridge, and then there was a van under the bridge that I didn't see, and when I looked at my speedo, it said I was doing 77, and I thought, oh god, that's it, I'm done now. That's it, I'm done. But actually, then you figure out that because later on in life, when I got a smartphone and an app that actually tracked how fast I was going, that 70 miles an hour in most cars is actually 67, or 68 maybe, and it's like there's like a 5% difference between the actual speed you're going and what's registered on your speedo. I was like, okay, that's interesting. But I think over time people have figured that out. So they will go through a speed camera at 73 miles an hour, knowing that they're going to be absolutely fine. Even if the 10% plus 3 thing doesn't exist, which I don't think it does. I do all the information I've ever seen says it's discretionary, or is at the discretion of the officer or constabulary or authority or whatever. So people know that they can go through those smart cameras at 73 miles an hour and be fine according to their speedo, and they'll be absolutely fine. I've done it a couple of times when it is a bit slow on the motorway. I'm in a little bit of a rush, and my cruise control is set to 71, just so I can overtake someone a little bit quicker than if I was overtaking them at 70. And I've gone through a camera and no problem at all. But again, I know that I'm only doing 68, 69 at that point. I'm not actually doing 71.
The one you got to watch out for, if you go through a village and there's a camera there that and it has a display and it tells you what your speed is. Right, don't drive through there and think, okay, so if I drive at 33, it thinks I'm doing 30, because they're not going to be calibrated to any kind of reasonable accuracy.
There's one I go past. Oh, where is it? There's one locally around me somewhere, and I regularly give it the finger when I go past, because it says I'm doing 31 when I'm actually doing 27. Yeah. According to my speedo, I'm doing 27. It says I'm going for. I'm like, fuck off. It's just like, no, they are so inaccurate. I mean, some of them I'd say are pretty accurate, but they're not calibrated regularly. They're not tested like a speed camera is, or a speed gun or anything like that. So, interesting. Anyway, any other good examples? Let's have a look. I gorged on a Toblerone and drove to Dundee in my bare feet. I mean, it's very specific. How big was the Toblerone? That's what I want to know. Is it one of those giant ones you get from motorway services? That's what I want to know. I was told it might nullify your insurance. Am I wrong? What?
Of course you're wrong.
Toblerone? I don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, they're still
driving with bare feet.
Bare feet. No, I'll scroll down. Let's have something original.
Yeah. You have the light off when you drive. I need a light to do my crossword. Cause of death: enlightened cruciverbalism. Okay. Anyway, owning a TV but not having a TV license. You do not need a TV license if you just watch DVDs, Blu-rays, or play console games on it. The amount of threatening, misleading letters Capita sends you, you'd think you were breaking the law, which is a really interesting one. And I watched a load of YouTube videos on this ages ago from a channel called Black Belt Barrister. I guess he's a barrister who's also a black belt in something. But he said he'd get loads of letters or comments or questions about TV licensing. But they're relentless. Those fuckers are relentless. If you don't have a TV license, you have to work so hard to prove that you don't need it. And they will just keep sending you letters to say they're going to take you to court.
Letters, but they have to prove that you're using a TV.
That's true.
So it is actually the other way around. And, the thing is, there's going to be an assumption that if you have a dwelling, you've probably got a TV and you're probably watching it.
Yeah.
And that's all they're going on. It's kind of that assumption. And if you send a threatening letter saying you need to pay your TV license, make sure you pay it. Most people will pay it. I mean, a lot of people, I imagine, have got TVs and they watch TV.
The challenge now, especially with smart TVs, so streaming is fine. You can stream pre-recorded content, absolutely fine. It's anything that is a live broadcast.
Yeah, but they want to want to
include streaming.
They want to include live broadcasts on things like YouTube. Yeah, So actually, if you're watching this now live, technically,
yeah, I don't know if they have included it. I know they
I don't know
want
if
to.
they have or not. I think I don't know whether they've managed to hit that yet. So
I think the differentiation is if it is user-created content. So YouTube is a platform of user-created content. So what we make is user-created content. That's fine. That's exempt. Things on Twitch is fine. Kick and whatever other user-created content creation platforms are there. But what they're saying is any live broadcast that isn't classified as user-created content, you need a license for. Now, I don't watch BBC. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. I watch it once a year as a minimum, and that's for Trooping the Colour. That's the only time I watch live broadcast TV on the BBC. But even if I didn't do that, I'd still need a TV license because I watch live broadcast American football. It is streamed live to my TV. And the challenge now with smart TVs is I think it would be difficult for you to prove that you don't watch live TV because most smart TVs have live TV built in. I can get all live TV on my TV downstairs. If I want it. I don't want it. Like I say, I have an Amazon Fire TV Cube that I use for all my streaming needs. And like I say, that's got BBC on it, and that's where I log into it. But even if I didn't do that and didn't have the American football, I think I don't know how I'd prove to them that I don't watch live TV on my TV that is capable of streaming live or watching live TV.
Well, because it's only capable of doing it. They've got to prove that you're actually doing it. They've
Yeah, I
got to
guess
prove
they have
that
to
you're
prove.
watching it. This is the thing. This is the whole thing with the burden of proof. They know nothing because they're not in your house.
That's true, yeah.
They're not in your house, looking over your shoulder at what you're watching. They will do, the best they can do in terms of proof is be right there on your doorstep and listening at the right time, hearing do.
So the old duff from EastEnders.
And which probably makes their life a lot harder because you could be watching anything, and I think they realise that this is a major issue, and that they've got to somehow sort out either other revenue streams or other ways in which they can get people on the license fee, because a lot of people now are cancelling license fees.
Yeah. So if it wasn't for the fact that I did actually stream live TV for a few months of the year, I would probably cancel mine. Because I don't watch it otherwise. It's just not. Yeah. But again, it's one of those. It's been a long-standing argument, though, isn't it? It's the BBC that introduced it. It's a law that you have to have it in these circumstances. But because the BBC doesn't want to go to external advertisers, and it's like, yeah, okay, that's stupid.
And so really, that the one that we had there, the example of things that are legal, but don't feel legal, is basically having. Excuse me. Basically, the thing is living somewhere and not having a TV license. Basically.
Yeah.
I'm going to cough some more, so I'm just going to mute myself for a moment.
Okay, you do that. I shall go through a couple more things, and you can just nod and agree while you're coughing up along. Okay, so the next one I've got is pressing the button to cross the road and then crossing before the green man comes on. I think we've all done that, haven't we? And I don't feel guilty about that. It's like I've pressed the button already, so I'm going to cross. I'm just going to go ahead. The road's clear. I'm going. Unlike some people who will press the button and then just walk out in front of a car, and you're just like, that's not how the button works, man. It's not a stop all traffic button, or an immediate stop the car button. Idiots. And walking away while that's the bit I get guilty about, when you've crossed and then the traffic lights turn red and the green man comes on, and then you're just walking away while the beeping's happening and you've stopped all the traffic for no reason.
Well, as a motorist, that you'd absolutely hate that, and hate the person that did that. Yes. But it's just part of life's rich tapestry, isn't it? You press a button, and then all of a sudden there's no cars anyway.
Yeah.
The thing is, we don't have any laws against jaywalking. I mean, get in the comments and tell me if I'm wrong.
No, we don't.
Whereas, if you go to somewhere like Germany, and then you find yourself getting in the way of the cars, you find yourself being arrested. And fair enough. The other problem is that we've got things that are quite we have crossings that are pretty passive. We have the pedestrian crossings, which when we certainly in more diverse areas cause a problem, because not everybody knows all the rules of the road. So unless you've got something that's a red light and it's really, really obvious what you should do, if you've not had to go through the whole what's it called, highway code, to be driving in the first place, and you're driving perhaps on a foreign license, or just don't care, then this can cause quite a few problems with people getting just wiped out on pedestrian crossings.
There are many people in my local area so when I walk to the shop, there is a zebra crossing, and it is incredible. I could be stood there looking both ways, and it's like, I'm not going to walk out because I can see the speed at which people are traveling up the road towards this thing, and I know even if I walk with some haste, I'm not going to make it in time. So I kind of just stand there, kind of leaning out, almost looking at them, and soon they're gone, and you're like, okay, I'm glad I didn't walk out. Yeah. They just don't stop. It's scary, man. And you take your life into your own hands every time I go up there. It's almost at the point where I start to feel anxious about it. Not so much though that I'm going to drive the 0.1 of a mile around the corner to the shop. That's just not what I'm going to do. I'll still take my life into my own hands when I do it. But it's terrifying. And I busted it to me the other day. Literally, I was there and I was about to step out, and next thing I know, bus has just gone straight across me. I'm like, whoa, holy crap.
And the other side of that, flip side, is you've got to be so careful, because people will shoot out at, walking into the road when you're driving. I tell you, what is annoying is when people loiter around the crossing. You're like, why are you fucking standing there, you dick?
So do you want to go?
Are you crossing? You're not crossing? Are you just wasting my life? Get out.
And I've seen this once, and again, it was at the same crossing, and I've driven through. Somebody was stood away from the crossing as I'm coming down the road, and then they decide to step out. They literally then approach the crossing and step out, and I'm like slamming on the brakes. And I'm just like, have you just done that on purpose? Were you testing to see, or okay, do you want to die? That's number one. But secondly, are you just trying to test me to see if I can stop in time? Because if I didn't, you'd have a bit of a problem as well as me.
Talking to people that may or may not want to die, and to be honest with you, part of me doesn't even want to stop. The most annoying thing is when cyclists use, I don't know, what's it called? A pedestrian crossing. They start using a pedestrian crossing. Now, they can zoom out at massive speed. I mean, that's from a starting point of view, they can get up speed faster than most cars, really, can't they?
Oh, yeah.
So all of a sudden, you've got a cyclist nipping through, and they're not pedestrian. They shouldn't be on there.
Nope, they should not.
No. So they take the life into their own hands.
Cyclists that don't, cyclists that cycle on the road, fine, but then they don't stop for red lights. Not so fine. You're like, okay, again, complete death wish. And I don't wish anyone any harm, but Jesus.
I think if you do that, then whatever happens, it was, you probably deserved it. And that includes being shot.
Okay.
So anyway, cyclists.
I was watching a channel again ages. I've stopped watching him because all the content was pretty samey in the end, and I was like, I'm a bit bored with this. But it was Tom the taxi driver, and a guy called Tom who drives a taxi in London. And to begin with, it was quite good because he'd show you some of the routes that he took. You know, he'd be like, "Oh, this customer wants to go from where I am here all the way over to there," and he'd kind of show the route that he'd take through the back streets. And I found it quite fascinating because it's that, you know, as a driver, if I'm in London, the chances are I want to stick to the main road, irrespective of how much traffic is on it, because I know that's the most direct route. And if I start taking back roads and back streets through London, I'm going to get very lost very quickly. So I'll just stick to the main road. So I found it fascinating that obviously as part of the knowledge, they have to know all of this stuff anyway, and he'll show the little convoluted route there. Oh, okay, that's cool. You know, there was this one where he was kind of stood on the pavement, talking to the camera right by a red light, and every time a cyclist goes through, he'd just be like, "Yep, there's another one." Yeah, there's another one. Literally, just cyclists just going straight through red lights, just without a care in the world. And you're like, it is incredible. And London's one of the worst places for it. I've found in my limited knowledge of driving the UK. Many times I've driven in London. Cyclists are terrible there, and pedestrians are just as bad. Pedestrians have a death wish in London.
Yeah.
They will just walk out in front of you.
Yeah.
You know, you're just like, okay, don't mind me.
Yeah. It's just lawless, isn't it?
Well, that's why there's now 20-mile-an-hour speed limits around the place, because pedestrians and cyclists.
Yes, pedestrians and cyclists.
Yeah.
Whereas it's just what it is, isn't it?
It really
it's
is.
just another way of making money, of course.
Yeah.
Because you're more likely to catch people speeding and therefore fines.
Oh, speed cameras are a cash cow, 100%.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
Yeah. So is congestion charging. So is
ultra low emission zones.
ULEZ, yeah.
Although, I mean, to be fair, if your car is new enough, you're generally okay. Like, so I drive to Birmingham quite regularly for work, and they've got a low emission zone there as well. I'm fine. My car's okay. I say new, and it's obviously all about the emissions. The emissions on my car are low enough that it's fine. I don't actually know what the threshold is. All I know is that you can go to the website, put your registration in, and it'll tell you whether you have to pay anything or not.
Yeah.
And I do not. So, winner.
Yeah, winner. Fantastic. Yeah. Whereas probably if you've got the diesel version, you're screwed.
Yeah. See, I'm going to assume for those, essentially any vehicle that is a diesel gets hit with a charge.
Yeah.
The old dirty diesels.
It's just as well nobody suggested that buying diesels was a good thing.
Yeah, right.
So yes, what was it? Driving. What was it? It was legal, but we wouldn't have expected it to be.
That was pressing the button to cross the road and then completing your crossing before the lights have changed.
Yeah. Are there any other good ones on there?
There's a couple on here. Yeah, I'm just having a quick look. So we've got leaving a shop empty-handed. I always expect to be stopped. Now, that's really true. It's like, I mean, it depends on the shop. I mean, if I'm going into a clothing store, I'll happily walk out of there empty-handed because I'm just like, okay, you didn't have any clothes that I wanted today. But like, if you go into like Tesco's or something, and especially if you're after something very specific and they don't have it, to then leave without anything, I always expect to get stopped by the security guy, as if to go, hang on, who are you? What are you doing? Where are you going? Why haven't you bought anything? How dare you?
I mean, they wouldn't stop you unless there was some sort of suspicion or reasonable suspicion that you've stolen something. But the thing,
I mean, I am ginger,
so what's worse is, yeah, that's true. What's worse is when it comes to shops like that, generally it can be quite difficult to get out because once you go through a thing, and it usually has the little flaps, so you go in one way, and then the way you go out is through a till or through the self-service till, and then it's a bit weird because it's like weird. You're either walking through the self-service thing and not doing anything, or you're trying to go past somebody who's got a basket at a till.
See, I mean, I've done that before, and that's a weird sensation when you have to go through this was kind of before self-service checkouts became a thing, and you had to try and squeeze past people on a regular checkout to get through. And you're just going, oh, excuse me, and everyone assumes you're just trying to push in line. It's like, I'm not. I just want to get out, But they've got the electronic Western saloon bar doors on at the front. I can't get through.
Yeah,
it's very strange. I remember doing that when I was a kid. We'd go to Iceland, and they had the flappy thing gate. And when I was a kid,
if you're outside the UK, Iceland is also a shop.
it is a shop, yeah,
not just a country.
Yeah, it is also a shop, yeah. That sells frozen goods, strangely enough, as well. But they also sell non-frozen goods, so the name Iceland doesn't mean anything anymore. Anyway, but they had the non-electronic version of the flapping gates, right? And I used to love going there when I was a kid because I was obviously a lot shorter, and I could pretend I was in a spaghetti western. You know, do the old push it out to the side, and hover my hand over my imaginary holster. You know, I hadn't grown at that point. No, I'm kidding. That's weird. And we'll skip past that, but yeah, I used to love doing that when I was a kid. That was great. That was good fun.
Yeah.
You can't do that now because it's all electronic. It just opens as you approach it. It's like, oh, I want to push it open and do the whistling tune. That one, yeah. I wasn't sure I could actually whistle right now. My lips are feeling a bit dry, so I don't know if I can whistle.
That's no, that is a thing. But it's the same with the the new supermarkets like Aldi and places like that.
Yeah,
because they're very much a funnel.
Oh, they really are.
Tills. You don't really have any other options, so that makes it harder. But it's weird actually. Have you noticed that the shops where the cheaper the shop is, the more the security seems to be.
Yeah.
Whereas, if you're going into some sort of high end shop, that just doesn't seem to be the same sort of restrictions. And whereas if you're going to somewhere where everything costs £1,
I think it's about aisle and product density. So you go into Tesco or any other larger supermarket, the aisles are quite well spaced to allow for high volume of traffic in both directions or any direction. Whereas when you go into a budget store, Aldi's, Lidl's, B&M, Home Bargains, the aisles are quite narrow because and again, it's as you go in, you are streamed in a particular direction. You are forced down that direction. And I guess because you could end up with quite a number of people all going the same way, or because they're a lot narrower, there's less visibility. Maybe the opportunity for shoplifting is greater. I don't know. That's my theory, at least. Or the stores just feel it's cheaper to hire a couple of security people than it is to fit CCTV around the place.
Do you remember back when we had the the Chinese cough and cold issue, and all the supermarkets, you'd have to go in a certain way, and there'd be arrows on the floor.
No one fucking followed it.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, no one followed that shit.
But look back on it now and just think, what a load of bollocks that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the freaking queues, and it's like people queuing up, waiting in line, as they say in America, but you'd have to stand 2 meters apart. Or wasn't it a meter? Then it went to 2, then to 3, then back down to 2 or something. I don't remember.
I don't know. It was always 6 foot or 2 meters.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, I think they kept changing it until they kind of settled on 2 meters. They were like, "Oh, that's it. Yeah, 2 meters is fine." But then you got these, half a mile long queue outside the front of the store because they can only let a certain number of people in because they didn't want to spread the virus. I was going to call it something completely inappropriate there, but and it was just a very weird sensation. You end up kind of queuing up and waiting for 40 minutes before you can get in.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the door, you're like, oh, I'm next. And then it's either a red light, green light system, or there's somebody stood at the door. And like someone's literally been employed to stand there and say, nope, not yet.
Yep.
I've got to wait for someone to come out.
In, or what?
Yeah. Like you got to wait for someone to come out. And it's like, 5 people have left since I've got here. Yeah. Can I go in now, please? I just want a sandwich.
And the weird thing is, most of these measures ended up, like you say, you end up with queues outside and things like that. And, people hanging around together for longer. And, you find actually most of these measures end up, the consequence is that, people are basically being kettled together
It was fine though. There was 2 meters in
Opposite
between
to
them.
what they're suggesting they want to do.
Yeah, it was okay though because there was 2 meters between them. Wind wasn't a problem.
No, wind doesn't travel.
Yeah, wind
It doesn't carry diseases or anything.
Exactly. The wind didn't take your water vapor particles from your face and blow it all over the place.
No.
Yeah. Ridiculous. The whole thing was a farce, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a load of nonsense.
What a load of crap.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was things that appear to be illegal but are actually illegal.
Yeah.
Or words to that effect.
What's a totally illegal thing in the UK that you still feel? I can't say that. Still feel. I keep wanting to say steel feel, and that's not how it's said.
Yeah.
Still feel weird about or guilty doing. So yeah, there you go. Well done, everybody. Bravo. That's the end of the show.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
Yeah. I mean, there's nobody in the chat. I was hoping I was going to ask for more suggestions in terms of what they think that they might feel is illegal, but actually isn't.
If you're outside of it, I mean, if you're watching and you're outside of the UK, I'm also interested to know if there's any similarities there or any differences.
Yeah.
The whole jaywalking thing, like you say, it's go to Germany, you find yourself arrested for just crossing the street. Same in America. My other half, though, she does say, obviously the police have got to see you doing it, so it does depend on how many police are around. But again, I think in the UK, whilst jaywalking is not specifically against the law or specifically referenced in the law, I do think if you did something stupid, they'd probably talk to you and say, "Come on now, don't be stupid."
But it would be good. Be careful.
Yeah, so you wouldn't be arrested for it unless
you wouldn't be arrested for it.
I think unless you were causing a specific danger.
I think if you're causing a specific danger, you probably
gonna die.
Be noticed doing that by dying. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna die. So,
yeah. Don't do that.
That's a. I don't know why this has popped into my head. I have no idea. Please don't read too much into it. But I recall hearing about it's against the law to commit suicide.
No longer is that the case.
Okay. This popped into my head the other day as well.
Yeah,
I was like,
no,
it's against the law to commit suicide, but it was not against the law to attempt to commit suicide.
No, that sounds like bollocks. That sounds like a bit of an urban mess. No, it certainly was. It certainly was against the law to commit suicide. So, if you survived your attempt, if it was an attempt, and you weren't successful, then you could be arrested. I mean, I think in reality, nothing ended up happening. But I'm struggling to think of anything else that is not. There might be feelings about things that you think that you can't just go ahead and do. I know that's the thing. It's like, you can't just start a business. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can.
There are so many things you can just go ahead and do.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's red tape that you got to get through, but if you want to start a business, go start a business.
Yeah, there's red tape, and I think if you don't know what that red tape is, or perhaps you think there's more red tape than there is, which is probably mostly the case.
It's all fine and dandy until the ICO gets involved or someone accuses you of tax evasion. And then you're like, oh, okay. Not that I'm saying that's happened to me. Sorry, I've just done some compliance training at work, and tax evasion and fraud and all were some of the subjects that I had to read about. And I was just like, I don't know how you react to things like this. I get this real deeply embedded fear when I do like online training for work, when it's things like compliance training. So your fraud, your tax evasion, bribery and corruption. And you read this and I'm just like, this world is a dark place, or has been a dark place for all of this training to have to exist.
Yeah.
And what if I say or do something and someone just misreads it? Like, how much trouble am I going to be in? Like the whole bribery and corruption thing is an interesting one. It's like, So a supplier that I work with quite regularly, I'll go out and play golf with the account manager. He and I are friends. And I'll regularly go out and play golf with him. We became friends through work. This isn't a, oh, I brought him in because he's my friend, because that's absolute, fraud, and I shouldn't be, or, some red flag. I can't remember which one it is now. It's not that at all. It's I joined the company. I met this guy because he's an existing supplier, and now we've become friends, and we go out and play golf every now and then. But I'm like, I don't tell anybody at work that that's what I'm doing, because I'm worried that somebody's going to, report me for bribery or something. Or I don't want that hassle. There's nothing untoward going on. Like, we've gone through a contract negotiation phase for the last few months, so we've done nothing like that.
Yeah.
We want to keep that above board. But then who's to say that, who would then be like, oh, you're in a contract negotiation with this company and they won the contract, but you went out to play golf with them 6 months ago. And it's like, that's nothing fucking to do with it.
Yeah.
If anything, that was just a couple of mates going to play golf. Okay, it was on work time, but, whatever, and he paid for it, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, when it all boils down to it, it's down to intent, and it's down to actually the facts of the matter.
Yeah.
I suppose you could say technically whoever bought the lunch is, who's getting any kind of value out of something else. And, you might work in an organization where you have to, you should declare any gifts that you get. It's like, well, it's not a gift because I'm going to pay next time, but, whatever. But when I always think, if it came down, at the subsequent inquiry, this is going to look like a waste of money talking about this.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be abundantly clear that you are not, buying Range Rovers off the back of this relationship with the person that you play golf with.
Exactly.
Obviously.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
But yeah, it's just, when you're reading the information that's there, I don't know, it goes through my head. I'm just like, holy fuck, am I doing something wrong by going out to play golf with this guy?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like he's buying you like your clothes, your suits, or clothes, or other gifts for your wife. It's not like he's letting you borrow a penthouse in London.
Yeah.
And letting you stay there, which would, cost anybody else many thousands of pounds for a long period of time. So as long as you're not doing something like that, then you're squeaky clean.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything like that.
Yeah.
Well, not anymore.
Good. Yeah.
I'm kidding. No, I don't do that kind of thing. Yeah, it's just a weird feeling as I'm going through this stuff. I'm like, is that me? Yeah, is that me? And it's like, sexual harassment training at work, suddenly makes you think, holy shit, I can't say anything to anybody.
No, you can't.
Someone's going to take it the wrong. Someone who's not even involved in the conversation, who just happened to overhear because they've got ears like a fucking bat, and they're over the other side of the office and they heard a word completely out of context, and I'm going to get in trouble for it. You know what? I'm just not going to talk to anyone ever. I went to Birmingham on Thursday actually. And I got in the office. I went straight downstairs to where the meeting rooms are, and I shut myself in there until my meeting started at 1 p.m. It's just like, I don't want to people.
You're sending people to Coventry, which is a form of bullying. So I think you need to have a meeting with HR. At the end of the day, that's the look of the draw. It's the look of the draw. If somebody that looks more like a victim wants to say something to HR, then you're screwed. Yeah. Unfortunately, you're just the wrong type of person.
I'm ginger. I'm screwed. Yeah.
That's not. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, that's always it. Just ginger. Yeah, like I said, unfortunately, and I say these things, I know that the cases are rare, or they're uncommon, and the serious cases are rare. Probably not as rare as I'd like them to be, but but I know, I know who I am and what I do and the intent that I have when I say and do things. And hopefully nobody ever takes that the wrong way. And I'm not even just thinking like, if I'm trying to be funny and making comments that could be misconstrued. It's that just in general conversation, if someone ever overheard me, they just, understand that there's context to things or whatever. Anyway, I'm not helping my own case here, so let's move on.
No.
Let's move on. What have you got for us, Ted?
What? Oh, I don't know. Hang on a moment.
All right, I'll keep talking for a moment whilst you, work away in the background. And as I say that, as it happens every time, I completely forget what I should say. I have no idea what I should say. My mind just goes completely blank. It's like I went for a job interview a few weeks ago, and I went in with lots of confidence, and someone asked a question that I probably have prepared for, but they've worded it in such a way that my brain just shuts down and goes to mush, and I just go, I don't know. That happened. That was a thing.
Right, I'll tell you what. This is I've got something from the relationship advice section, Reddit.
Relationship advice. Everyone, strap in.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll have a cat thing soon.
Have you got a cat for this week?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, this is on Reddit. This is it stupid if I mean, that's different, isn't it? Is it stupid that I, 25 female, break up with my boyfriend, 29 male, rather, in, oh gosh, off to HR you
go.
Yep. Because he told me, you're only the third prettiest girl I've dated.
Lol. Very harsh.
Can I, first of all, right, it's probably very misogynist of me to say this, but provide a photo. Yeah, because nobody in the comments is really going to know the answer to this one. But anyway, simple question. Basically, what happened was I said that a friend of mine said that she thought he was one of the most attractive guys I've dated. And then he said that in response. So he didn't understand the assignment, I think, pretty much is the answer to this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, this is not the only degrading comment he's made about my appearance. Ooh. There was another time where we were kind of going back and forth about something kind of riffing, and he said I was the prettiest girl in the room. I was the only girl in the room. So I said, well, I'm probably the prettiest girl in most rooms. It wasn't something said in a very serious way, and he said, well, that's definitely not true.
Yeah, I'd fucking dump that motherfucker. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, come on. This sounds like a bit of banter to me. But anyway, let's see what else happens. He's also let me know multiple times that my boobs are too small for his liking. Yeah, he's a dick.
There's no such thing as too smaller boobs. Boobs are boobs, man.
That's the first thing I think.
Boobs are boobs.
Yeah. He basically said if I didn't get a boob job, he would constantly see other women and feel upset that he'd never have that because I refused to get a boob job. He follows a ton of half-naked Instagram models that look nothing like me. He usually picks apart my appearance. It's either he doesn't like the makeup I'm wearing or, no makeup today.
Comma would have been useful in there.
That's an interesting choice. He complains I wear too much blush and it looks ugly. I've asked multiple people if I wear too much blush and they all say no. Disregard that comment because she'll ask her friends and they're not going to disagree with her. He's very critical of the outfits I choose to wear, saying that some of them are so ugly they should be burned. Oh. All of this, and he knows I'm insecure about the way I look because of all of this. And I sent him a reel on Instagram, and he said the girl in the reel was cute. Okay, why send it to him then?
Right.
Anyway, however, he's frustrated by this and doesn't understand why it's a problem that he doesn't think I'm the prettiest girl he's dated. That I should accept reality and it shouldn't be a problem because it's unreasonable and unrealistic to think that. However, I didn't have to know and I didn't want to know. I didn't ask for this information. He just shared it with me. There are some other issues within the relationship beyond this area, but I've never had any boyfriend make me feel insecure about the way that I look or make me feel like I wasn't the prettiest girl in the world, or at least the prettiest girl they've ever dated. And if that wasn't true, they definitely didn't let me know. Oh, if that was true, they definitely didn't let me know. I feel like shit. And I've been crying often because of it. I think it's the straw that broke the camel's back. Am I being ridiculous?
Calling yourself a camel, yes.
She's obviously got the hump.
Oh.
I don't think she's being ridiculous.
No, I think she's perfectly justified. I mean, there is a fine line between banter and just flat out, abuse. And just from that description, that sounds like he's quite abusive. It also sounds like he's got, quite a range. He'll just sleep with anybody and then grade them at the same time, and he doesn't really care how they feel about it. Sounds like a bit of a dick.
I don't know whether it sounds like he's got a range or anything.
No, maybe not a range.
What it does. I mean, bearing in mind there might be another side to this. Bearing in mind there might be more context to this that we don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, bearing in mind she might be incredibly needy, constantly saying, "How do I look? Am I pretty? Am I pretty? Am I prettier than her?" Blah, 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 blah. And he's just like, "You're all right," and he's just fed up with it. Right? Okay, because that can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, my instinct would be to say, no, he's a dick. Why are you with him? Says one commenter.
Yeah.
He seems like an awful person. For real, every new paragraph was worse than the last. I want to break up with this loser on the OP's behalf. He's literally a menace. I didn't even read past the title, and I think she should end it. You see, now anything that this person says, null and void.
I'll say it's invalid.
Yeah, when you say things like that, then no, I'm moving on. Oh, here we go. Wait. It gets worse with this particular comment. No reason to say something like that unless you're trying to hurt someone. Or being honest, perhaps. Maybe he thinks he's just being honest. She should really tell him that he's got the third smallest penis she's ever been with and see how that goes over. So this trot of flames is suggesting some body shaming. That's very progressive of them.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Why would you not? Yeah. But also, that might not be. And she wouldn't be telling the truth.
Yeah, true. You did break up on me a little bit then.
Sorry. Did you hear me say hung like a donkey?
There we go. That's the bit we didn't hear.
So. Oh, right. Okay. Yes. Anyway, enough about me.
Hey.
He's beating her down so she doesn't realize she can do better. I have a story like this, and it wasn't pretty. These little digs build up over the months and years until eventually you're letting them cheat because you're not good enough and doing everything to please them. It's not a good slope, and it's only going down. I think that probably,
that sums it up nicely, actually.
Yeah, it does, I think.
As you were reading some of those comments, I was just thinking this is clear, like, emotional abuse. And yeah, that sums it up really nicely. He's just subtly beating her down bit by saying these things, and eventually she'll just believe it.
Which does lead me on to something, because it kind of links up with the whole what was it, the Lily Phillips thing.
Yeah.
And this may not be the issue, but it could be the issue. Certainly, let's say this was the other way around, or very often when it comes to these relationships, the problem can be if somebody's had too many relationships. If there have been too many, then, like, for example, Lily Phillips.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take her, for example. In terms of a long-term relationship for her at some point in the future, she has got so much to compare with.
Mm-hmm.
She could never possibly think that she could settle with anything.
Maybe.
And this is the other issue. This may be the case for this guy, because he might be thinking, okay, she's not the prettiest. I feel like I should be with the prettiest. But then if you're with the one that's the prettiest, yeah, she's the prettiest, but she's not the tallest. or she's
Yeah.
not the smartest.
There's a list of attributes there that they're going to start comparing against. Yeah.
Yeah, or not the best one in bed.
Yeah.
Or not the best head. Or not the or not the biggest this or the smallest of that.
Yeah. Not the nicest legs, not the nicest bum, not the nicest boobs.
Exactly.
Face is good. Not too sure about the hair. Yeah, you start creating a bit of a league table, don't you? I can't say that's happened to me before.
Yeah, but then it becomes difficult, and I think I like I say, with these with some of the younger people that might be shopping around a bit too much, they find it difficult to pair bond because they just had too many options thrown up in front of them.
I feel like you get there's one of two results, isn't there? And I guess that it applies everywhere, not just in this particular scenario. But you either end up hating everyone because no one meets your very high standards because you've got so much experience. You know, you've essentially figured out what you're looking for physically, as well as maybe personality or emotionally or whatever. Or because you've got so much experience and you know exactly what you're looking for, you just happen to come across just the one, and you're tolerant enough that whatever that small niggling thing is, you can just look past it. I've maybe that's me, riding the fence a bit as I usually do, without falling on one side or the other. I like the view from up here; it's good.
Yeah, you do, don't you?
But it's true though. It's going to go one of those two ways. They're either never going to find the right one, or they are going to find the right one because they've played the field enough that they've got all the comparison, they've got all the data they need to figure out what good looks like. But
the chances are they found the good one, and then they moved on to find out that the next thing, the next option, the option after that, and the good one has gone.
Yeah.
Can
you imagine though if they did then find the right? I mean, think like Lily Phillips, if she did find a significant other for life, to then have to explain all of that. I once slept with 101 guys for money. Did you now? Okay, bye.
Yeah,
and also,
but this is that they're so screwed up.
Yeah,
because let's say, for example, she finds somebody who is right for her, okay, whatever her requirements are. I feel like they're quite low, but anyway, whatever her requirements are, for a long-term relationship, and then has to, probably doesn't have to disclose because she's so well known, but if somebody doesn't like her past, then that's not going to work out.
Nope.
But worse still, if somebody is happy with her past, part of her is going to go, yeah, so what's wrong with him?
Yeah,
a lot of people would be thinking that. Like,
maybe, but then there's also, because at the end of the day, she's done this for a job, and if she has that ability to put that separation in, so I think like we had one a couple of months ago, somebody who used to be a sex worker because they needed money or whatever the reasoning was, but they weren't sure about telling their other half because they were worried about how they'd react or something. And it's that, well, if that was your job, and I can't remember what I said at the time, but I'm thinking back to that, and I'm thinking, that was your job, and if you're honest with me, and you are telling me that what we have is something real, and it's not just work to you, why wouldn't I give it a shot? As long as you're not still in that trade, and as long as you're not still doing that work.
Yeah, but I think most men would be thinking, they'd be like, hang on, no, once it's in there.
Yeah, well, that's the same.
I can't remove it. And what I'm saying is that, anybody that can overlook that might not necessarily be as well respected, even by the person that is trying to have the relationship with them.
Yeah.
Because they're like,
maybe.
well, actually, if you fucking want to be with me, then how can I possibly respect you? What kind of a cook are you that you're willing to accept that? You know, it's like, whoa. Yeah. So it's fraught with difficulty, but then of course it's going to be fraught with difficulty. You know, if you're shagging 1,000 men at, you know, on, you know, for money and internet fame, then yeah, you're probably going to screw it up in the future.
I also think there is an element of public perception as well. Like, let's say, you know, Lily Phillips, you know, you were interested and she was interested in you, and you know, you go walking down the street hand in hand, but then suddenly everyone's looking at you going, isn't that the lady that slept with 101 men at the same time?
I don't think they use that term.
Okay, but you know what I mean, though. I'm trying to keep it, you know, cleanish for YouTube.
No, I mean, they wouldn't say lady.
That's what I mean. I'm trying to keep it cleanish for YouTube.
Right.
Yeah. You know, we can say fucking shit and bollocks as much as we like, but don't mention the adult entertainment industry by its actual name, because YouTube does not like it. So
no, I was thinking about the distinction between the word woman and the word lady.
Yeah, but
yeah.
Okay, fair enough. That woman, all right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's like that gentleman that murdered 23 people.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's not.
Okay, so right, but again, the people are going to be thinking, isn't that the woman that slept with 101 men? So now, who's this guy? And where does he sit on this spectrum of experience? You know, is this a long-term thing, or is this just another thing for OnlyFans? Or and as the man, you might then be like, yeah, I'm noticing that people are looking at us, and that might make people uncomfortable. You know, irrespective of how you felt about that, you know, how you felt about her. You know, I know I'd be like that. I'd be like, why is everyone staring at us again? And then it could be like, oh yeah, that's right, because you slept with 100 guys at the same time.
Yeah.
You whore.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't say that.
No, but you'd certainly be thinking, dude. I mean, you're not even touching the sides, so what's the point?
Yeah. Then again, there would also be people that would walk down the street and other guys who'd just be like that. Hey, high five. Because people are like that. Yeah, it takes all sorts, doesn't it? It really does.
What have we got for us?
I've got some confessions.
Oh, fantastic.
I found some confessions on Reddit today. Yeah. So the first one right at the top says, I broke a hotel TV and claimed it was already broken. Now, I'm not sure if you've ever done this. I know I've done this, not specifically with a TV.
Right.
But I've been into a hotel room, dropped something, and it has broken and gone, I'm just going to go down to reception and say there was a broken thing in the room, and hope that they don't care enough to, you know, figure out that it's me.
Yeah.
More specifically, it wasn't the TV; it was actually the TV remote.
Right. How did you break the TV remote, or do we not want to know?
I dropped it, and the back thing that covers the batteries came off. And as I was looking for it on the dark-coloured carpet, I trod on it and broke it.
Right. Okay.
So I took it downstairs and was just like, this thing was just on the desk broken. And they were like, okay, they literally went out back, got a thing and just put it on, and I got a new cover and put it on. I was like, okay, thank God for that. I'm sure, you know, there's been many times, you know, always happens when you're a kid as well. You break something accidentally and you're like, I found it. Yeah, the peanut butter sandwich came flying through the air and docked itself in the VCR. You know, that was, I think I saw that on a stand-up show once. It's things like that when you're a kid, but I'm pretty sure as adults, most people have done this, where they've just gone, just ignore it. Or that's the other thing, you just ignore it. Yeah. You just go, no, I'm not even going to say anything because they'll blame me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, go on, sorry.
I don't think I've ever broken anything in a hotel room.
No?
No. I've broken a bed, but then mentioned the fact that the bed was broken. I've fessed up to it on the basis that it shouldn't break, you know?
Doesn't matter how rigorously I'm bouncing up and down on it, it shouldn't break.
That's right. I mean, no, I haven't said that, but that's one of the fundamentals, isn't it? You've got that, and it's that and a kettle, right?
I mean, I've reported things that are wrong, like the kettle being filthy, or the cups for the coffee in the morning are dirty, and I'm like, come on now, or the glass in the bathroom has been used. I'm like, seriously, yeah, you report those things, but actually having broken something, and then try to blame someone else. I've done that. It wasn't me, Gov. Sorry.
What I find astonishing is that at no point in my life have I managed to set off the fire alarm.
No, me neither. Right, okay. Now, so I have this thought every time I go stay in a hotel for work. And that is, there's big signs everywhere that say no smoking or vaping. Okay, no smoking in the room, I get that. Absolutely, it stinks and it ruins everything. But vaping, now I'm not going to sit on my bed and vape because the smoke alarm is right above your head and it probably will set it off.
It doesn't.
Good to know. But I have then thought to myself, well, I take a shower in the morning and that generates a lot of steam. Why don't I go vape in the bathroom? Again, never done it. I don't want to be the one to test it. It's like when people have said,
don't worry, I have, so you don't need to.
It's like I remember there's a place in Northampton that was like one of the first places to have the average speed cameras, and they'd say if you go past one camera in one lane but then go past the next camera in another lane, it won't catch you. And I just remember sitting there thinking, who's testing that?
Yeah,
because it isn't me. If you want to go test that, go for it. And it's like I just don't trust people's opinions like that. And I'm not going to be the one to test. I mean, nobody told me about vaping in the bathroom thing. It just occurred to me one day as I was, taking a shit in a hotel. I was like, I could sit here and vape because the extractor fan's going. I generate steam when I take a shower.
Yeah, exactly. And even if you were concerned about that slightly, run the shower for a bit so the shower's wet.
Exactly.
Okay, stick a towel on the floor, vape as much as you like.
Yep.
By the time somebody's come up to the room, it's not like smoking. It's not like there's, I can smell tobacco.
I don't know. The fruity citrus blast might give it away.
Oh yeah, but I can smell somebody fruity.
Yeah. And don't worry, it's just my shampoo. So, that's what you say, then, isn't it? You just go, it's just my shampoo.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I was like, that could be a thing. I don't know how I got onto that, but breaking things in a hotel room.
Yeah.
And I was like, I won't test it. It's not. I can't do it. I just can't bring myself to do it. It's like when people used to say, put a pop sock over a smoke detector when you're cooking, and it stops the smoke from going into the detector and then setting it off. Yeah. And again, I'm like, I'm not going to be the one to test it.
No.
Because knowing my luck, I would do that, forget that it's there, and then there'd be an actual fire, and bad things happen.
Yeah, I think back in the day, I on quite a few occasions I put a sock over the smoke detector, usually in other types of accommodation. Where, especially when it was kind of borderline, well, can you or can't you smoke in your room?
Yeah.
Nobody's entirely made it clear, but at the end of the day, you don't want to be, basically marching into an office on a Monday and making some sort of explanation, but there's no way I'm going outside.
Like that guy when we were at Manston, who was smoking in his room and said, I just put a sock over it, man. Come on.
Yeah, and then smashing the place up with the
that was that as well,
extinguisher. Yeah. Which is not how you use a fire extinguisher. I haven't got the chat window open, but you might want to.
Yeah. So Bex has been in the chat. Hi, Bex. Welcome. Good to see you. Bex says, I set off the fire alarm in a hotel once. It was because I had a shower with the bathroom door open. So embarrassing. Now I've been.
Boy era.
I've been in some hotels, specifically one in Red Hill as a travel lodge, because they wouldn't let me stay in the Premier Inn for some reason. And there was a sign on the door that said, "Please keep this door closed while you're showering, and then close it when you're finished. As you come out." And again, it's to stop the steam coming out. And that bit, I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But while you're in the bathroom with the door closed, what's to stop me from vaping? Apart from the law, of course.
It's not even the law.
I think it is.
Where is that on the statute book?
Well, I don't know. I'm not a legal expert, but I'm pretty sure it's illegal to smoke and vape in public places indoors.
I would probably... Well, we know about smoking.
I think vaping has been added into that because you're not allowed to vape in a car with
do you know what?
people under 18.
Like we've had this conversation before.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure we've had this conversation before. I'm pretty sure we had the same question come up, and I'm pretty sure
we decided I was right.
No, I'm pretty sure we decided that I was right.
Excuse me.
Almost certain that we were right. That I was right. Yeah.
Well, let me have a look. Is it illegal to vape indoors? UK. Oh. Guess who's right?
Who?
You.
Yeah, and we've done this before.
Yeah, no nationwide law prohibiting vaping indoors.
Should we now talk about pigs in blankets and what our favourite cheese is? Because we've done that before as well.
Yeah, and cat milk.
Cat milk. How are you going to milk a cat?
How do you milk a cat? Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Okay, well now I'm a bit older and wiser. I'll probably still forget that. So.
Yep, that's fine. I'm sure we'll bring up the subject and have the same discussion again at some point in the very near future.
So in about 5 years' time.
Yeah, that's right.
It must have been about 5 years ago we were talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the UK there is no nationwide law prohibiting vaping indoors. The decision to allow or ban vaping in enclosed spaces is left to the discretion of property owners, employers, and businesses. So, yeah. Policymaking, workplace advice. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, there you go. E-cigarette use does not meet the legal or clinical definitions of smoking. Furthermore, international peer-reviewed evidence suggests that e-cigarettes carry a fraction of something. Because I'm just looking at a preview. So yeah, there you go. I stand corrected, or I sit corrected. Once again, thank you for setting me straight.
This is the great thing about the Tuesday show. Not only are you entertained,
Educated.
I can't finish this with a straight face. But I'll change that. The great thing about the Tuesday show, if nothing else at all, you occasionally learn something.
Very occasionally.
And in your case, you forget it, and then you have to learn it again.
Well, I just try and figure out what's actually important to me. And the reason that understanding whether there's a law or not about vaping indoors is not important to me is because I don't do it.
Yeah, you know, sometimes there isn't space. Yeah. There isn't space in your head to remember everything.
Precisely.
Yeah.
I'm already too intelligent. I don't need that bit of information.
Yeah. I've got important things like knowing what a Vauxhall Viva looks like, because that is going to come in handy.
100%.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I was talking to my boss today, so he's just ordered a company car. So we have a company car scheme at work, where I can do salary sacrifice and have a brand new car. And I was going to do it a couple of years ago. I actually put an order in for a car, and then I started looking into it a bit more, because people were saying, "Oh, it's really expensive," and it was expensive. I won't deny that. And it was all like fully insured and taxed and served. All of that was built in. But even with that, buying the same car that was just a straight petrol engine rather than a hybrid, that was a year old, worked out to £60 a month cheaper than what the company car would have cost me, including tax breaks and insurance and tax and servicing and all of that stuff. I did a very rough outline of what the servicing would cost me. I mean, I bought the car with 3 or 2 years free servicing anyway. So that wasn't a factor at that point. The MOT is what, 50 quid, 60 quid. It still works out cheaper. But then, anyway, the point of the conversation was he's ordered himself one of these cars, and he's got one of those BYDs, the Build Your Dreams Chinese cars. I don't know if you see them around. They're like compact SUVs. They've got BYD on the front, and then on the back it says Build Your Dreams. Now, the first time I saw one of these cars, I thought it was like a mini Range Rover that someone had custom made. It actually looked like a custom made car. And someone had put Build Your Dreams on it. I was like, well, that makes sense if it's custom, because they've gone and put some fancy slogan they thought up, on the back. But no, apparently this is a brand, and that's what he's ordered. So, but yeah, just talking about the shape of cars, I was like, again, when I looked at it, I was like, it looks like a mini Range Rover. A Range Rover Sport, type thing, rather than an actual like proper Range Rover. It didn't look like a proper Range Rover. It looked like a Range Rover Sport. That useless bit of information came in handy at that particular moment. Oh, that reminds me of a Range Rover Sport.
Okay.
You're welcome. Killed a few minutes. So.
Yeah, that's podcast gold, that was. Anyway, what were we talking about? How did we get onto that? What were you showing us on Reddit?
Breaking a hotel TV.
Oh yeah,
and blaming
right.
someone else.
Yeah. What other things have people broken?
So looking down there, we've got one that says, one time when I was like 15, spent over $400 to order an iPhone 4 or 5. I don't remember for my prepaid service. I got it in the mail, opened the box outside, and immediately fumbled it and cracked the back glass. I called Virgin Mobile and told them the phone came in the mail cracked, and they sent me a new one and had me send back the one I cracked. I mean, that's kind of funny if it's just completely spuffed it straight out the gate and broke it. And then someone says, that was an iPhone 4 that had the glass back, the 5 had the plastic back. I had an iPhone 5. I was talking about this at work the other day about iPhones, as we're going through some exercises to do with mobile phones. Did you know that if you have an iPhone 8 or older, they are no longer supported by Apple, but the iPhone 10 the 10 is not supported. The 10R and the 10S still is supported.
Right.
For how long, we don't know. So if you have I had an iPhone 10, that must have been 7-8 years ago. No, maybe 6 years ago. It's not bad going for a six-year-old device to still be supported by the manufacturer for software updates and stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty damn good. I like Apple for that.
Yeah.
The price tag still sucks, but
Yeah.
I did this with a $3,000 drone once. Drone lol. I thought I said once. I did it with $3,000 drone lol. Wrecked that fucker in the first 5 minutes. Took it back to them and told them it went haywire and flew into a tree. Definitely flew within my abilities after that, for the most part, anyways. I did this with Straight Talk, not an iPhone. Don't remember what it was. They took it back, sent me a new one. I had to harass them like daily for a month or two because they said it was or would be shipped soon. It finally arrived, and it was 2 phones. Gave one to my brother, to my mother to use. There you go. See, that's the thing. I mean, I don't think it's much of a thing now. I think more businesses use tracking on shipping stuff. But certainly back in the day, you could easily say that something didn't turn up. And obviously now with things like photos, a signature, who gives a shit about a signature on a POD? Because anyone can put a squiggle on a fucking phone or on a bit of paper. But now with photos, it's a bit more difficult. But yeah, back in the day, you could be like, it hasn't turned up, even though it has, and you sign for it. You'd be like, no, it just didn't turn up. And then they go, well, and you say, there's a bit of back and forth, and you're like, well, okay, the tracking says it's been delivered, but that's not my signature.
Recently, I think somebody was kind of trying to mess with my Amazon account or something.
Yeah.
It's like, good luck with that. I don't even use it. So there's nothing attached to it, like payment wise. But I was getting sent things. And yeah, we've got a few weird, wonderful little gadgets and things.
Adult toys?
No.
Marital aids?
No. That's an old term for them, isn't it?
Well, now I think you say marital aids, everyone just thinks you and your partner have got HIV.
Don't know why that's funny.
It shouldn't be funny, but it is.
Next week, cancer.
Next week on CJ and Ted get cancelled. Sorry. Oh, he's disappeared. Oh, no, now he's back.
No, I'm back. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, internet.
The AIDS, I don't know. But no, there's like little sort of gadgets and things. I can't remember now. Because what I did, I just put them in the box and put them in the corner. Yeah. And thought, I'll just forget about that. Might look again at some point because nobody's claimed back and say, "Hello, madame, you need to pay this," or anything like that. There's been no backup with the whatever scam it is. But then I've heard that actually, what some people do is send things out randomly, so that they can kind of get positive reviews.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't understand how that works or what the purpose is. But
right, I can explain this one because I've watched many a YouTube video on this. Okay. So a business will set up on Amazon because not everything you buy from Amazon is made and sold by them. There's a lot of independence on there as well. So what they'll do is they'll set up a business that sells small things. I don't know, fucking bamboo toothbrush or whatever. I don't know. And what they do to get your review verified on Amazon, you actually have to buy it. You can't just go in and start writing random reviews, and you can't start getting AI to generate reviews for you. You actually have to buy stuff.
Okay.
So what they do is they will buy all these small things that cost maybe £1 each or 50p or whatever, and ship it randomly, and then they'll write a review as you. Then a short time after that, what Amazon doesn't stop is from those companies essentially rebranding or relisting that on the same list. They just change the photos and the name and the price on the same listing.
Right. Yeah.
But what it then looks like, I mean, because that item might be complete trash, but what it looks like is that it's got loads and loads of 5-star reviews or good reviews from the previous cheap product. So now they can sell a more expensive product, make more money, but send out complete trash. Because people do rely on reviews. And since I've learned that, actually, what I do when I look at, because I've always looked at reviews on Amazon, what I do now is pay a bit more attention to what people are saying about them. And if it's a product, if they're writing a review about a product is not what I'm looking at, I move on. I just go straight past it.
Yeah.
No longer interested in it.
Yeah.
Because that's clearly what they've done. And you can usually tell by the name of the merchant as well. It'll just be like some random, letters strung together to form half a word or whatever, or half a foreign word or something that won't make any sense. Like, it'll say like Lexomigen or something crazy. That's generally what they are. They're just, not spoofs, but, illegitimate, I think is probably a good description.
So, presumably if there's written reviews and they're just generic, this was great.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Great product.
Right, okay.
Great support from the seller. That kind of thing. It helps to boost its profile in Amazon when you then search for whatever products you're looking for. Because then again, you'll just see it goes, oh, this thing's got 2,000 reviews and it's at 4.5 stars. This is great. I'll just go ahead and order that, and then what you get is complete trash. I'm just gonna have a quick. Okay, pink bathroom accessories. Do not ask me why I was searching for pink bathroom accessories, but I was. So yeah, Jotum. I mean, the thing is, some of these are completely legit. I'll never doubt that. But yeah, Jotum, Zenida, Sumgar, Tindby, JQHOMO.
Okay.
Is that a JQ Homo? I don't think I'm allowed to say that, but that's the name of the brand. Don't cancel us, YouTube.
Homo erectus.
Yeah.
That's
it. God, again, I was going to say something really bad then. So things like actually, I can show this. I'm not showing any personal information on here, so let me. There you go. It's like. Oops, let's get the thing. You got Sleek
Mm-hmm.
Light, that's quite probably legitimate, but then you got this Defuli,
Right.
or you can't see the one next to it. Philanduo. You know. Okay, all the ones that are coming up as what I would say are dodgy are all off the screen. There you go, that. It hit slam.
Mhm.
Okay, could be Jen. But yeah, it's things like you get all these weird and wonderful kind of brand names that appear on Amazon. But because they've all got, so let's go back to that so you can, we can focus on that. Like this one that's got 1,000 reviews, Wall Plus. There you go, 5.2 thousand reviews. But again, it might be genuine, but you'd have to go and read the reviews to understand it. To know if it's genuine or not. But that's why they do that. Sorry, that was a very long explanation to your thing. That's why they do it. It's because they're trying to basically get their reviews up, and then they'll change the product.
Yeah,
but it's on the same listing, so it retains all that review information and search history information. So that's why. But if they're doing it on your account, you probably need to change your password.
Yeah, I can't get into it though. So,
is that because you forgot your password?
Oh, goodness knows what my password is. But then I don't use it, so I couldn't give a toss, really.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Now you've done that, I'm now back on Amazon. I'm going to look at my... where's my sign? What do I want? My account. I just want to see if I can set up multi-factor authentication, because I don't want people hacking my Amazon account. I just don't need it. I don't need that shit in my life. I don't know my password, so I need to type in the password to my password manager, which will then get me the password. Oh, fuck you. Right.
Again, great podcast.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to go and do some filing, and then
don't mind us.
Should we have some cats? Let's have some cats before we go, shall we?
Yeah, sure. Let's do.
We promised cats, and if there's one thing to be sure, if I promise cats, you're going to get cats.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to do the so don't crash the jingle this time. Okay.
Okay, let me get the right.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go.
Cat of the week. Meow
Meow
meow.
Meow.
meow meow. Yes,
There you go.
Yes, indeed, it's cat of the week. And I don't know whether this is going to be with a specific cat, but something that I've been thinking about. Well, not something I've been thinking about. I mean, that makes me sound like no, actually, it probably is. I think about stupid things. But when you think about cats, one thing I do like is when cats sit like humans. There's something very pleasing about that. So I went onto Reddit just to see if there were any good examples of this. I actually found a thread which is, can we share pictures of our cats sitting like humans? I'll start first. Bit of a slouched pussy there, with a ball.
It's the facial, and I know people say, "Oh, cats can't change their facial expressions," but
they can. Yeah.
The facial expression on this cat, I think it just makes it. It's just like, yes,
yeah.
Can I help?
Who are you?
I say you are interrupting my lounge time.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Is it dinner time already? Yeah. I've actually hang on. I've got one. I've got enlarged ones for you to look at. That's what she hoped.
That's what she said.
Okay, so we got this guy here.
Oh, look at that.
Nice looking black and white cat. What kind of cat is that? Is that a Persian cat?
I think that's Persian.
Yeah. But it looks a bit fat for a Persian, like a bit fluffy.
I thought Persians were quite floofy anyway.
Were they? Are they?
I think so, yeah. Oh, hang on.
Oh, maybe it's a Persian. Yeah. Nice duvet, actually. Nice duvet colour.
Yeah, very stripy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Persians are... Oh, hang on. I just typed in Persian cat and it's given me all sorts of cat images.
Yeah. This, by the way, obviously it's not audio gold.
No.
showing pictures of cats. But
No one listens. It's fine.
well, that's true. Yeah. Actually, I think more people listen than watch. So,
Look, you just crashed my joke, dude.
sorry, what was the joke?
That no one listens.
Oh, right, okay.
Actually, I think more people listen than watch.
Statistically speaking. I did like this one. This is like, hang on, I'm busy.
See, fine. I just got off a Zoom call, man.
Yeah.
He's got the headset around him and everything.
Yeah, if you look closely, he looks like he's on the internet looking at whiskers.
I say, ironically, I think he's actually on Amazon looking at whiskers.
Very possibly. That's don't watch out for rogue traders on Amazon.
I think that image on the computer is Amazon. After you go into a listing and then you click on the image to enlarge it, because then you've got the smaller thumbnails on the right hand side.
Right.
Sorry, my attention to detail is off the charts today.
Yeah. Let's have another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it's another look of surprise. Like, why are you even here?
Yeah, it is. Anyway, that's a nice black and white one. Just chilling. But again, more of a human chill than a cat chill.
What kind of cat is that? Because it's not a tabby.
Oh, I see what you mean. What can you have? You can have tabbies, tortoiseshell.
Okay, maybe that's a tortoiseshell.
No, it's not.
No, okay.
It's I don't know. I know ginger.
Me too.
I don't know. Get in the comments. Get in the chat. Tell us what kind of a cat that is.
Yeah, let us know. It's like it looks like a cat version of a cow.
Yeah, we need a new sort of jingle thing for a new section, which is "What's this pussy?" I might even make that one, and then what we'll do is we'll put a picture of a cat up and and get people to tell us what kind of cat it is. What's your cat?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, now this is one of my favorites. This black and white. Now, some people call this a tuxedo cat, don't they? Because
it's got like the white shirt.
Yeah. Right. An off-duty waiter, but also a cat. Imagine if cats were waiters.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
They'd just nibble your food before they got it to the table, though, wouldn't they?
Taste testing to make sure it's not poisoned. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's chilled, but I say chilled. I looked at this and I thought this looks like a cat that has seen too much.
Yeah. I've seen some things, man.
He's had a difficult week, you know.
Yeah.
So that's difficult week cat.
I just call it difficult week cat.
Difficult week cat, but it looks like too big.
Oh, we lost you again for a minute. We got to and then.
Oh, okay. What was I saying about this cat?
He's seen some things. He's had a difficult week.
He's had 3 divorces. I mean, look at him.
Just defeated.
Yeah. Yeah. Just this is like the equivalent of a person in their sweatpants.
So that is motherfucker. I said chicken nuggets, not popcorn chicken.
Yeah, no, that's just vegging out and with a box set.
Yeah,
that's vegging out with a box set, cat.
Yeah, absolutely binging Netflix. That's a Netflix and chill.
Yeah.
Although less chill because you're stood in front of the TV right now.
Yeah.
Again, it's just facial expressions. Blocking the TV.
Not sure what the next tab is. Let's have a look. Oh, there we go. We got a ginger.
We got a ginger.
There, we got a ginger on there. Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah,
that's a proper sitting though, isn't it?
So
it's sitting right on the top of the sofa.
Yep.
Legs akimbo.
Yep.
Tail out for all to see.
Yep.
And a slightly surprised look in his face. It's like, oh, you're back.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're back so soon.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing anything. It wasn't me, Gov. I like tabby cats. There's something quite endearing about tabbies, and again, it's the facial expressions. You know, greys, gingers, whatever. I like tabby cats. So we had a couple of cats when I was a kid. I probably said all this before on the show as well. We had two cats when I was younger. We had a bit of a black and white one. No, he was a brown tabby, I think, called Socrates. Always called him Socky for short. And then we had a black cat called Tinky. I don't know if Tinky was short for anything. It was just Tinky. It was a he, so I assume it wasn't short for Tinkerbell. Or maybe it was, but then they figured out it was a male and just shortened it to Tinky. Or it could have been like Mr. Tinkleton, or I don't know. Could have been anything.
Mr. Tinkleton.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, here we go. Snowshoe cat? No, that doesn't sound. There are so many different types of cats with all their different, patterns and things like that. I think everyone knows what a tabby cat looks like.
Yeah.
The whole tiger striping thing going on. Everyone knows what a calico looks like.
What's funny about cats, I find, is that cats can have a litter of kittens, and there's lots of different. There's variety.
Yeah.
So sometimes your cat can be a bit like Lily Phillips. I don't mean fluffy. I mean a slag.
Sure.
Anyway, if you've got anything you want to say about today's show,
get in touch.
Anything you want to say about today's show, and you haven't got in the chat, which probably haven't because it's been quite quiet, make sure you're back next week and get in the chat. If you were slow with the chat, then get in the comments. Let us know what you think about anything that we talked about. I can't remember what it was. In the meantime, you can also you can get in touch. You can DM. That's the word. You can DM the couple of letters. You can DM me at Ted James Media on all the platforms except 9 3/4. And you can email the show at
CJ and Ted at thetuesdayshow.co.uk.
Yeah. So until next week,
we'll say goodbye.
We'll say goodbye.
I need to press the outro button. There we go. I'll press the outro button now. We're good. But we're still here. Bye, everyone.